Chapter 28.5 to 34. I'm currently sitting in my house, lounging around doing absolutely nothing. I mean, I'm currently in a world of swords and magic, there's absolutely fuck all I can do. Entertainment is a rarity in this world, a fact I resent. Well, I'm not exactly doing nothing, I'm really thinking about what I should make next. Don't get me wrong, it's not like I can't think of anything to make, it more on the lines of I can't choose between the hundreds of things I want to make. So, I wait until one of my ideas become more prominent than the rest and I'll make that. It's mostly the reason why I make my shit in random spots in the world, it's because I make my creations spontaneously. I'm lonely. Whoa. Where did that come from? Just a random thought from nowhere. No, hold on, I have a point. I don't really have anyone I can call a friend. I mean, there's Lashivia and Amelia, but they're a fucking saintess and demon queen respectively, I can't just drop by whenever I want, even though they said I could. I mean, they really emphasized that I could, but I can't just do that, right? There's also the Dragon King, and there's the World Tree. There's also the Dungeon Master of Drystay. Man, I can't really visit any of them, sigh I really am lonely. Right. Let's fix that then. What should I do to solve that? The first thought that enters my mind is to make something that I can talk to, but yeah, I don't like making stuff for myself. I mean, I make stuff every now and again that I use, but I don't bother keeping it. I just pose as a mysterious merchant and sell it to a random guy for cheap. I think there's a rumor about that floating around too. Speaking of which, I still have that mana ring, should I sell it off like before? What was it called? Ah yes, I called it Doran's ring, from League of Legends. Nothing special, just a ring that boosts your mana. Powerful stuff though. I'm going on a tangent again. Right, I'm lonely, and I need to solve that. Come to think of it, I never had a companion. I have friends like I just said, but it's always a come and go relationship. There's never been anyone I could travel the world with. Right, I need a companion. Where should I get one? Maybe a monster. Like a dragon or something. Nah, the Dragon King would get pissed if one of his kind is just following me around. I mean, he's a good guy, just a bit too prideful. I actually had to beat him around at first, but now we always sit down for a good talk whenever we meet. But if a dragon starts following me around randomly, like his daughter wanted to, for example, I would immediately get chased out. But I don't want just any random monster as my companion, so the monster companion is out. I guess that just leaves a humanoid companion. Right, there was this cliché, wasn't there? Raising a child also seems fun. Right, let's do that. A week later. I'm wandering through a random forest. What am I doing, you ask? Well, I'm looking for the cliché, abandoned child. I'll take them in, raise them, make them overpowered as fuck, before disappearing after leaving a note. So cliché. I love it. Wah. And would you speak of the devil? Hee hee, boi. I follow the sounds of the cries to see a baby about to get fucking eaten by some wolves. I purposely step on a branch, alerting the wolves to my presence, before I open my mouth and point to my left. Around a kilometer that way is a wounded debor. You can eat that instead. I'm not lying, there is indeed a wounded debor. A large one at that, easily enough to satisfy this pack rather than just a small baby. The wolves flinch due to me suddenly speaking their language, before looking at each other and running off in the direction I pointed. I just let them go. I mean, sure, they were about to eat this baby, but it's the natural law of the world. I can't hate them for it. Besides, they're cousins to dogs, and no sane man kills a dog. They didn't doubt me since they knew I had to reason to lie. They felt it, I could instantly erase them from this world, and so they easily relented. That, and the fact that I can understand and speak any language in this world helps a lot. I walk up to the now silent baby to find that it's staring at me. Its eyes are strangely filled with intelligence. I use my arcane eye, and, would you look at that? A reincarnator. That makes things even spicier. Reincarnators are rare, but they always seem to have this broken-ass plot armor. I'm technically a reincarnator since I already died, but I've never met anyone who met a ROB and was dropped off in a brand new already aged body. They always started off as a baby. I take out a golden pocket watch from my, well, pocket, and I press a button, opening it. The moment it opens, strange things happened. Like rewinding a recording, the world around me and the baby started going backwards. My meeting with the wolves, the fallen leaves, all if it rewinds. It continues to do so until a figure appears. Or rather, reappears. I stop rewinding the time around me and start to play it. It's unfortunate. You were born with a weak body, and in your family that births only warriors, you are a mistake. Be glad that you at least get to live a few more minutes until some monsters find you, as you weren't executed right when you were born. Ooh, what is this juicy information? And he just randomly spouted it to a baby just so I can look into the past and understand what happened. Fate is working its magic once again. Ha! So cliché. The baby's eyes widen in understanding. Was the reincarnator asleep when the mysterious figure first spoke about it? I guess that's fine. Right, I'll keep it a secret about the fact that I know this baby is a reincarnator. I pick up the baby and check its gender. A girl. If that's the case, your name will be Mikoto. The name of my #1 waifu from my past life. I wonder how this child's life will unfold. Next day. Mikoto is currently crying. I mean, Shizu died only just last night, there's no way I can hide this, so I made some breakfast for Mikoto before telling her that Shizu is no longer here. Regardless of how long they knew each other, they ended up becoming friends they can confide their secrets in. In this foreign world, finding someone with a familiar origin is comforting, for both Mikoto and Shizu. With those emotions, their friendship skyrocketed. So when Mikoto learned that Shizu died, well, you can see the result. I feel sorry for her, honestly. It's barely been a week since she was officially summoned into this world, and yet, she's experiencing all these emotions. Mikoto doesn't even have the leisure to feel embarrassed about cuddling me in her arms. And like when she was summoned, she's crying into me like I'm a stuffed animal. Mikoto, why, did she not tell me? I could have been there in her last moments. Rimuru, for the exact same reason you're crying now. Seeing you would be another reason for her to keep living. Mikoto, and what's wrong with that? Rimuru, living, to her, is a curse. Mikoto becomes quiet after hearing that. She just grits her teeth in frustration as more tears spill from her eyes. Frustration at now knowing what to do. Should she be happy her friend died, or sad? It's a confusing thing. Seeing her like that is honestly a bit painful. I want to do something to alleviate her pain. For myself as well. I mean, although Shizu and I weren't on the level of friendship she and Mikoto were on, we were still friends. And I want to do something. A couple of days pass. The atmosphere in the house is still quite depressing. Mikoto just never seems to smile as often. I, myself, am the same. Believe it or not, I never had to deal with the death of a loved one before. I died at a young age in my past life, and therefore, my parents were still alive. My grandparents from my dad's side were already dead before I was even born, while my mom's side grandparents are still alive, although they live far away. My parents are getting old, but they're still alive, and any of the pets my family had always disappeared before they died. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is questionable. So besides my own, I never had to deal with the death of a loved one in my life. And now that someone I was close with is no longer here, it's a new feeling. One I don't necessarily want to feel again. It's hitting hard. And so, with that thought in mind, I kept thinking. What could I do? I quickly came to an answer within 5 minutes. I could make a new body with limited creation, before using Ilia, Heaven's Feel, to reincarnate Shizu's soul into said body. Canon Shizu mentioned how she didn't want to die in this world and would rather be eaten by Rimuru, so I didn't think it was right to just let her soul go. Besides, her soul is a little strained and a bit damaged from her link with Ifrit. Without support from my Heaven's Feel, her soul might never completely heal. So, what should I do? I'm conflicted. I want Shizu to live again, but this is nothing more than a selfish desire of mine. Should I be selfish and force Shizu to keep living? Replaying memory. Great Sage suddenly makes an appearance. A memory of mine gets dug up by it and starts to play in my mind. It's the scene of Shizu lying on her bed, asking me to consume her. Shizu, it's okay to be a little selfish, right? And like that, I made my decision. I will reincarnate Shizu. Of course, she won't be exactly the same either. Because her soul is strained, it can't exactly reincarnate as is. I can fix her soul, but it comes at the cost of removing her memories. Her personality will stay the same and her core memories like habits, speech, muscle memory, and the like will remain. It will just be like she has amnesia. Of course, it's because of this that I can rest easy in my decision. The moment I reincarnate her, I'll be watching her facial expression. If she still shows a face of reluctance, I'll know she doesn't really want to live again. And so, I begin. I made an egg. It's basically a pseudo-soul vessel. I took inspiration from the avatars OG Rimuru made further down the line for their use in the dungeon. Basically, it will create a body from magicules in the form the user thinks about. But since Shizu will be in a clean state, it will instead create a form that will fit her best. The bad part about this is that she can't be human. Because her body will be made from magicules, she basically has no choice but to become a monster of some form. How did I make this, you ask? Well, I made the stuff I could with limited creation, and did the rest with Rune Master, while Great Sage supported. Finally, I heal Shizu's soul with Ilia, Heaven's Feel, and control it to enter the egg. And now, we wait. Oh, and Great Sage. Rimuru. Thanks for replaying that memory. Great Sage didn't say anything, but I swear I felt something from it. After everything was completed, I rushed over to the still moping Mikoto. In case something went wrong, I didn't tell her to get her hopes up. But now that everything's finished, I no longer have to keep things a secret. Arimuru, Mikoto. I accidentally called her first name, but she nor I really noticed. For me, it's because I'm excited. For her, however, it's just because she's depressed. She's a strong girl, she'll recover soon. But it's better to recover sooner than later, right? I hold up the egg to her and speak. Rimuru, this is Shizu. Okay, that came out wrong. I admit it, so can you stop looking at me like I'm some kind of fucking idiot, Mikoto? I quickly explained to her what this egg is. Rimuru, so basically, this egg is Shizu. She will be reborn as a monster and she won't have her memories, but it's still technically her. And who knows, one day, she might even regain her memories. Mikoto is staring at me with her mouth open before she quickly picks me up as I'm still holding the egg, and hugs us both. Mikoto, Rimuru. She shouts out my name with such joy that even I'm feeling bubbly. She has a wide smile as she spins around, laughing. Her previous self nowhere to be seen. Suddenly, she stops and lifts me to her face, asking me a question with a curious expression. Mikoto, but didn't you say that Shizu herself didn't want to live anymore? Is it okay like this? Rimuru, well, technically, she just spites the world. For her, it was one hardship after the other until she became known as a hero. Her link with Ifrit was also a constant reminder of what she had to go through. As for what she had to deal with while she was young, even I don't know everything about it. A moment of silence falls between us, but I keep talking. Rimuru, but, since she no longer has those memories, she might just want to keep living. I don't know, really, but if she shows a face of dissatisfaction or something similar, we'll know she doesn't want to continue. I hand the egg to Mikoto and jump onto the floor. She looks at the egg, smiles, and turns to me. Mikoto, so what now? Rimuru, well, I'm not entirely sure when exactly the egg will hatch. So I was just going to go out and test some things. You know, since I ate Shizu, I have a human form and all. I also have some new skills, so I want to take them for a spin. Mikoto, Then, let me join you. I agree, and we head out of the house. I think it's high time I get my human form. A while later, I'm back at the place where I practiced coding objects with my space-attributed magicules and where Mikoto experimented with her unique skills after she was summoned. It's the same place beside the river. Of course, now it's riddled with craters, but I honestly don't really care. Why? Because I might finally be able to accomplish a long wish of mine. Mikoto, is it to get a human form? Rimuru, no, it's to finally taste meat buns again. Indeed. With this, I may finally achieve inner peace. Rimuru. Transform. And so, I pop into my human form. Long silver white hair, golden eyes and an androgynous face. As expected, I'm a Bishounen. I can finally know how those Ike men type people always feel like. I mean, although I wasn't ugly, I wasn't good looking either. I was average. No, really. I mean, there was a time when I asked my mom how I looked and she says, handsome, like she always does with that wry smile, therefore I'm at least average. I'm joking. But I definitely wasn't good looking, but with how I look now. Rimuru, how is it, Misaka-san? I turn around and face Mikoto with a wide smile on my face. Mikoto, however, is covering her eyes with a blushing face. Ooh, are my charms already working their magic? Mikoto, put on some damn clothes. Oh shit. Limited creation. I made some clothes. They're styled very similarly to OG Rimuru's Demon Lord attire. I really did like its style, so I decided to use it. It's laced with vibranium threads and made with more precious materials. After that, I fused it in with my threads so it becomes like a part of my body and voila, it's completed. Rimuru, how about now? Mikoto, still having a trace of blush on her cheeks, looks at me up and down, and speaks. Mikoto, you look like Shizu, but different. Rimuru, well of course I do, my form is based on her body, so I'll have some similarities from her. I'm currently in the body of a teenager, but I can change my form into a child or an adult as well. Furthermore, I have a shit-eating grin on my face as I quickly teleport behind Mikoto. After that, I change my body into that of a woman and my clothes shift to accommodate my new body figure. I hug her from behind while pushing my breasts into her. Rimuru, I can do something like this too. My voice changed to that of a female. It feels weird, honestly. I prefer my male or gender-neutral form, but this isn't half bad. I blow into Mikoto's ear before backing off quickly as Mikoto's body becomes a shower of electricity. She turns around to face me, covering her body with her hands as she backs away while blushing. Rimuru chuckle you're blushing, you know? Mikoto, oh shut it. Sigh. She sighs in exasperation from my antics while she still has a red face. I wanted to transform into my male form and confess to her right then and there, but I don't want my looks to influence her like that. I'll do things naturally. And if she accepts, I might reward her by spending our private times as an Ike men while treating her like a princess. But, I don't exactly have time for this. I must complete my wish. And so, I focus my full attention on the image in my mind. I want the fluffiest, the most perfect meat bun I can possibly imagine. Limited creation. Pop. And so, a meat bun pops into my existence and onto my open palm. I hold it with my fingers, lift it up to my mouth, and take a bite. Rimuru, I release the most sensual moan I've ever made in my entire life. Thank God I'm in my female form right now, or else I would be feeling so much embarrassment. Furthermore, Mikoto is, once again, blushing from hearing the moan I just released. That, and tasting the best meat bun to ever exist for the first time in over a month, I'd say that moment of embarrassment is worth it. I shift back into my gender-neutral form, deciding to seal away my female form for now and look back at Mikoto while both of us were still embarrassed about the sound I just released. Rimuru, let's get started on my skills, shall we? Mikoto. Right. My human form is similar in some aspects to Shizu's original body. That much is obvious since my current form is based on her. Although I could make some changes, such as making myself seem more masculine, I don't want to do that. Maybe changing into my male form now and again is fine, but I don't want to permanently stay like that. I feel like it's a bit disrespectful to Shizu who gave me her body. It's a complicated feeling. Well, although my looks aren't that different from OG Rimuru, my age is different. I really don't want to spend most of my time in a child's body, so I aged myself to look as if I'm a teenager. My form looks around 15, complementing Mikoto. OG Rimuru could have also aged his body by using black mist, but using the mist dulls his reactions, so he just made do with staying in the form we all came to know and love. I, however, can change my total body mass to whatever size I want with my heavens feel, so I can skip straight to having a teenage body. Thank fucking God. This also makes it so that even though I have the necessary magicules, my body isn't inflated to the size of fucking Moto. Anyway, I've been holding off on this for a few days now. Great Sage, it's time. Start the process. Confirmed. Attempting to evolve unique skill, Great Sage. Using unique skill, Deviant, as a sacrifice. Success. Unique skill, Great Sage, has evolved into ultimate skill, Raphael, Lord of Wisdom, ... Not yet. Clean up my skills for me, Great Sage, no, Raphael. Confirmed. Executing task. Fusing skills. Success. Extra skills, Ranged Barrier, Replication, Spatial Motion, and Sticky Steel Thread, have been acquired. Origin Slime status has forcefully evolved extra skills, Ranged Barrier, Replication, and Sticky Steel Thread, into intrinsic skills, multi-layer barrier, enhanced replication, and universal thread. Reacquiring resistances, completed. Cancel pain, resist melee attack, cancel natural elements, cancel ailments, resist spiritual attack, and resist holy attack, have been acquired. Holy shit, that was a lot. And now, fusing all miscellaneous skills. Success. There's more. All skills compiled into unique skill, limited creation. Attempting to evolve unique skill, limited creation. Failed. Conditions not met. Salvaging. Success. Unique skill, limited creation, has changed into unique skill, creation, dot. Well poo. That's a bummer. Can't have everything, I guess. As an aside, what's the difference now? Unlike limited creation, unique skill, creation, allows the user to create items with energy contained in them such as magicules. Sweet. Now I can make magisteel items and the like. I can even make items with effects already enchanted into them. Now I can make a bunch of shit like weapons from all those different kinds of anime. Maybe I can fight with it like a knockoff Gate of Babylon. I mean, I already have my predator stomach, so food for thought. Anyway, as I was going to say, Raphael made an appearance right here and now instead of later down the line, because, well, I already meet the necessary conditions. I'm already someone that can hold an ultimate skill, I don't need to evolve any further. And so there's no need for, Great Sage, to stay as a unique skill and can directly evolve into an ultimate skill. I stopped it from evolving until I solved the Shizu problem, so now that it's finished, we're here. Mikoto, Rimuru, are you okay? I've kinda been staring into space this whole time, so Mikoto walked up to me and waved her hand in front of my face, snapping me out of it. Rimuru, oh, right. Yeah. Sorry, a lot of stuff just happened. Mikoto tilts her head and I swear I also saw a question mark. God damn it. She's cute. Rimuru, well, you do deserve to know this. So I guess I'll start with Shizu's skill, Deviant. And so, I explained to her about my new skills. Mikoto. Rimuru. Are you okay? Mikoto, hey, Rimuru. Rimuru, what's up? Mikoto, fight me. What? Rimuru, why? Mikoto, I've always wanted to fight someone from this world to see how I measure up to them, but I've never had the chance. So now that you just had a power boost. Electricity begins to arc off her body as the weak magnetic field around her begins to grow stronger, levitating small rocks around her. She grins. Now that I think about it, Mikoto always wanted to fight Toma, the protag of the Tora series. She's not the kind of person to shy away from a fight. Bring it on. I'm not the type of person that will just let myself be beaten up just because Mikoto is my waifu. I grin, matching Mikoto's and showing my agreement. And then, Mikoto fired off her signature railgun. The battle begins. A while later. I'm currently standing over Mikoto who is laying on the ground, breathing heavily while covered in dust. Mikoto, why, aren't you, tired out? Rimuru, well, my dear Misaka-san, I am a slime. I do not need oxygen, and I technically have limitless stamina. Trying to make this a battle of attrition was a bad move on your end. I replied to her question with a smug smile. We fought each other, as you can guess. At first, we went easy, before slowly ramping things up. Mikoto eventually started fusing her Magicules and Esper ability, giving her even more of a boost, before firing off one streak of lightning after the other. Each one also has enough power to break through my resist electricity easily, if I still had it. Now, it's evolved into cancel natural elements, so even if it hit me square on, it would only tickle. Not that she knows that, nor does she need to know that. Tee-hee. Don't look down on her though, I'm not even sure if the ogres can take on one of those lightning strikes and remain standing, and that's assuming they were already named. Mikoto. Forget the san. Just call me Misaka. I pause. My body freezes before I drop down to my knees next to the recovering Mikoto at record speed. Rimuru, really? Do you really mean it? Mikoto, yeah. Of course, I guess. We've been through a lot already, and I think that, well, you know. She starts to mumble at the end while she turns her head and looks away with red cheeks, but I understand what she's trying to say. We became closer. I get to call her name without honorifics. This is a big step. Rimuru, right. To celebrate, let's go into the hot spring. Mikoto, I guess that's good. I'm all dirty from the fight. And so, I lend a hand to Mikoto and pull her up as we both head to the hot springs with the destroyed scenery behind us. Man, walking away from the things you destroyed makes you so cool. Mikoto, Rimuru. Rimuru, Mikoto. What are you doing? I stop walking, as sweat appears on my head. How my body can sweat, I honestly don't know, but that's for another time. Mikoto, you can't really be thinking about entering the bath with me, right? Rimuru, but Misaka, I can transform into a female, see? It's okay. Right? Saying that I transform into my female form, but Mikoto isn't buying it. Mikoto, Rimuru. Spark. Gulp. Rimuru, why yes. Mikoto, get out. I am once again asking for your Fina. Cough. I am once again inside the Japanese-styled house I made. What am I doing, you ask? Ha 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 ha. Why do you even need to ask? For I am living my life the way I please. Specifically, I am on Mikoto's thighs. After a while, Mikoto gradually began to feel less and less embarrassed about carrying me around and hugging me. At least, while I'm in my slime form. I once transformed back into my human form while I was being carried around, and let me tell you, Mikoto did not like it. I had to sleep on the couch. Why? I don't fucking know. We sleep in separate beds in separate rooms. Why did she force me to sleep on the couch? I have no fucking clue, and why I even let her force me to sleep on the couch, I don't know either. I'm joking. But she really didn't talk to me for a while after that. Anyway, it's been a couple of days since I first experimented with my human form and my skills. Since then, my days were spent half of the time in human form. The majority of that time was spent eating. Since I'm a slime, I don't ever feel full from eating too much, so I can eat endlessly. That, combined with creation, let me constantly make and eat as many meat buns as I like. Yes, I live solely on meat buns now. Fight me. Anyway, Mikoto practically lives with me now. This house is the only thing that can be considered modern, so it's a source of comfort for her. I understand it, after all, I would find it difficult to live without any proper showers or toilets if I were still a human. We do spend our days outside, however, and only hang out inside if there's nothing really exciting going on, like feasts the goblins hold and the like. Although my food is good, there's this certain charm to the roasted food hunted and prepared by the monsters. I can't wait until Shuna gets here so we can really pick up the cuisine culture. Speaking of which, should I save the ogre village? Yeah. But not now. Procrastination. Why not now? Because, as I said, I am currently enjoying Mikoto's thighs. Rimuru, but still, you finally stopped getting embarrassed at holding me like this, huh? Mikoto, oh be quiet. Mikoto hugs me closer to her chest while resting her head on me and pouting. I just chuckle. My body is really comfortable to hold, it's soft, springy, bouncy, cool, smooth, and many other things. I sometimes make a replica of myself with enhanced replication, and hold it with my human body. I experimented with it a bit and gave the replica me to Mikoto because I wanted to see if there was a difference. Apparently, there is. Mikoto, it's just not the same. Or so she said. Fucking RIP, I'll never be able to experience what it's like to truly hold my slime body. Oh well, at least Mikoto's thighs are top quality stuff. It's a bit of a shame that her chest is a bit lacking. If only her lands weren't plains and became mountains, that would make the whole experience better. Spark. Mikoto, hey, did you just think something rude? Rimuru, you no. Quick. Think of an excuse. Oh, wait, there was that. Rimuru, right, I forgot to give you this. After saying that, I take out a small box from my predator stomach. I quickly hand it off to Mikoto before jumping off her lap and running away. Meanwhile, Mikoto stares at my retreating figure before sighing at looking at the box. It's a black sliding gift box. After contemplating for a bit, she opens it. She looks at its contents, causing her eyes to widen before her expression softens. Mikoto, honestly, that guy. A while later, you can see Mikoto walking out of the house with a new addition to the bracelet on her wrist. She didn't bother throwing the bracelet away, even though it's practically useless, and always wore it as a memento. But now, there is a small crystal Gakoda accessory adorning it. A/N, a Gakota is a certain mascot thing that Mikoto was absolutely in love with back in her old world. Obviously, this world doesn't have it, so MC made one. Back to MC. Anyway, I find myself back at the absolutely fucked experiment site. Making up my mind, I decided to clean it up and restore its condition. Oh, I forgot about the 3 adventurers. So yeah, they left. They stayed in the village for a few days after Shizu died. The day after Shizu passed away, I let them know about what happened, that Shizu is no longer here and that I ate her at her request. They were pretty sad. They didn't even have the chance to thank her for all the help she provided. So, I asked them to stay behind in the village for a few more days, and when I finally used my human form. Cable/Elan/Jido, thank you very much. They bowed in thanks to me, who was in my human form and was holding Shizu's egg. I told them about Shizu's current condition and that she will live again. I was hesitating if I should do that, but remembering Shizu's smile as she told the story of her journey here with those 3. I couldn't really keep it from them. Rimuru, though she did say you all were pretty danger-prone. I mean, who goes and stabs a giant ant nest? Anyway, I gave them gear made by the dwarves as a gift and they finally left. Cable, we'll have to tell the guild master about this place. Elan, though, will make sure to only say good things. Jido, and maybe we can come back here again. After that, I made a small memorial for Shizu on the hill with the tree and the great sunset view. It's nothing special, just an altar of stones. Though, I did infuse those stones with magicules, so they became rather precious materials. Although she's not technically dead, it just felt right. Mikoto and Ranga thought so too. As I finish restoring the riverbank experimental site, I find myself on that very same hill next to Shizu's memorial wearing her mask and wondering how Mikoto likes her gift. I remembered her like for Gakotas, so I made one out of highly condensed crystals pumped full of magicules. It's rather expensive stuff, not that it took much out of me to make. It's actually a support item that can help Mikoto with her Electromaster Esper ability. It provides a boost in power and also serves as a form of training assist tool for her. How does it work? Ha! No fucking clue. What? I just make the damn thing, I don't bother trying to understand how it works. Answer. The accessory works by focusing the Esper's mental state, allowing their calculations to form smoother and faster. This also helps in guiding their thoughts, allowing them to eventually perform at those standards even without the item dash. Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I do, but, not really. You can handle things like that, yeah? Understood. Great. More work off my back. Procrastination. I sense Mikoto walking up from behind me, eventually standing next to me and looking at the sunset view with me. I'm in my human form, so she can't pick me up, unfortunately. I'm not going to change back though. Why? Well, because. Mikoto, can I have one? Rimuru, Oh, sure. I make another meat bun and hand it to Mikoto before focusing back on the meat bun already in my hand. Buns before hose. Crack. No, that wasn't the sound of my heart cracking. That was the sound of Shizu's egg. It's been a day since I gave Mikoto her bracelet accessory and I was just lazing around as usual when suddenly, Shizu's egg that is sitting on a pillow on the table off to the side begins to crack. Rimuru, Mikoto. Come back, quick. I immediately sent a thought communication to Mikoto, who is currently wandering around outside and interacting with the goblins like a social human being. I'll never understand that aspect of her. Don't talk to me unless it's urgent or I've drunk my coffee, is my saying. And I don't drink coffee. I'm joking, it's not a saying of mine, it's more of a philosophy. Anyway, Mikoto, after getting explained what's happening, rushes back to the house and bursts through the door. She can't use thought communication, unfortunately, but I'm thinking of making stuff like skill orbs, crystal balls that contain skills that I can give to other people and stuff. Is it possible? Ever since I've gotten creation, a lot more things became possible to me, so yes. Will I ever do it? I don't know. I'm versatile as it is, and Mikoto doesn't really care about expanding her kit and would rather train what she already has. Crack. The egg cracks some more. Both Mikoto and I are waiting while holding our breaths, not that I can breathe anyway, as we stare at the egg. This is the moment of truth. Crack. The eggshell finally gives way and crumbles, revealing the inside. Within the egg curled up in a ball is the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. Music blares. It's Pikachu. I'm joking. It's a kitten. The kitten is pitch black with patches of red on her paws and the edges of her ears. Furthermore, the ends of her tails are on fire. Yes, tails. Plural. As if in more than one. Specifically, she has 2 tails. What's that? Shouldn't I be more surprised that her tails are on fire? PSSH, if you keep worrying about such things, you won't live long, you know. The kitten that was laying in the egg in a curled up position flicks her ears, opens her eyes, blinks, and looks at both Mikoto and me. The kitten opens its mouth. Meow. And meows at us with delight. Immediately after, Mikoto picks her up and runs away to her room. A day later. The reincarnation turned into a big success. First off, Mikoto actually named her. She was messing around with the cat when she randomly said her name. Because, you know, the cat is just Shizu in a different body and with no memory, so it makes sense to call her by her old name, right? Well, Mikoto called her that and she officially became a named monster by the name of Shizu. Who fucking knew? Anyway, Shizu is now officially named Shizu, and since she's only in her infancy stage, regardless of how strong Shizu was as a human, right now she's only a newborn kitten, and naming her didn't take that many magicules out of Mikoto. The crazy thing is Shizu gained Mikoto's limit break skill from the naming ceremony, and she's currently growing at an explosive rate. Her magicule capacity is literally growing at the hour. Another thing about her is Shizu's race. I was wondering what exactly race she was when Raphael swooped in and saved me from looking fucking stupid again. Raphael is working very hard. Report. Individual Shizu is confirmed to be from the Hellcat race. Their race is known to be masterful users of fire and dark skills. However, they are only ranked around the C rank and are therefore not very powerful. It is currently unknown if they can evolve. Individual Shizu, however, doesn't seem to inherit their dark affinity and instead gained a boost in her fire affinity. Thank you, Raphael. Where would I be without you? Probably dead in a ditch somewhere. Whoa. Beep. We are having difficulties, please stand by. Anyway, I repeated everything Raphael told me to Mikoto. Mikoto, you know about Shizu's race? Rimuru, Kukuku, don't underestimate me. I'm pretty smart, you know. Mikoto, I bet, great sage, just told you. Cough. She knows. Fucking run. Well, technically, it wasn't great sage, because it's now evolved into Raphael, but I'm wrong, Mikoto is also wrong, but more importantly, Mikoto is wrong. I'm not telling her that though. But should I name Raphael and turn her into a Manus? I mean, I would have done that immediately, but Ilya. I'm conflicted. I'll leave it to the future me. Right now, I'm worrying over what I should do for Shizu. What should I feed her? How much should I feed her? What about her bedding? Does she need toys? Should I clean her or can she clean herself? What's that? If I keep worrying about such things, I won't live long. Pfft, who said such a stupid thing? But it's good though, Shizu is very smart. It's to be expected since she was a former human. I'm not sure at the moment if Shizu can talk or she just doesn't want to, but we'll see in the future. It also seems like Shizu doesn't really have any qualms about living again. She's thoroughly enjoying her second chance. It seems my theory was right and that taking away her memories of the world reignited her will to live. I don't want to keep this up forever, though. I want her to remember her past life and come to terms with it. I want her to have no regrets. To do that, I need to sit her down for a talk with Leon, the demon lord who summoned her and the man who she despises but doesn't hate. Once they explain their thoughts and open up to each other, things will turn for the better. But I can't do that right now, so, forgive me Shizu, I'm keeping your memories for now. Anyway, I'm talking with Rigard about yet another feast the village is holding when I get hit by a sudden thought. I think it's time to meet with the ogres. So yeah. I'm gonna save the ogres before they get fucking decked. I mean, they're ogres. They're among the top of the food chain among the monsters in the Jura forest, having them in my force will be worth it. Not only that, if I just let them die, I'll feel a little bad. Great power comes with great responsibility and all that. I mean, I've been living in this world for over a month now, and I've come to terms that I may have to kill one day and that innocent people and monsters are dying every second. But, even so, although this might be a bit naive, I want to do something. Besides, it won't hurt anyone. And so, I first have to know where they are. That is why I am currently sitting in my slime form in front of a familiar object to anyone who watched the Overlord anime. Specifically, it's a mirror of remote viewing. For those who are unaware of its functions, this thing is a mirror that lets me view things, remotely. Fucking genius, I know. But yeah, basically it's a clairvoyance magic item. With it, I can see things while not actually there. Think of it like controlling a drone and looking through its camera, except there is no drone. Wait. Can't I use this to peek in on Mikoto while she's in the hottest PR? Mikoto, what are you doing? Rimuru ** girlish scream *. Mikoto walks up from behind me and asks me a question. It seems she's genuinely curious instead of interrupting me because of her intuition. Rimuru, oh, Mikoto, it's just you. I play it off like I just didn't know it was her. Mikoto, Couldn't you sense me with your universal sense skill? Rimuru, well, Raf *, Great Sage, is the one handling all of the info I get from my sensing skills. Otherwise, I would constantly get a stream of useless information, and it gets tiring having to file through it. Great Sage doesn't warn me of anyone approaching unless they have hostile intent. Mikoto, that's pretty helpful. I always have to tone down my magic sense skill whenever I don't need it, but with Great Sage, you can keep it on full power at all times, right? Rimuru, in a way, yeah. Mikoto, so, back to my first question. Rimuru, oh, well, apparently some orcs are wandering around the forest. I'm looking around to see if something big's happening. While I was talking, I come across a certain scene in the mirror in front of me. It's a village. The thing is, it's on fucking fire. Just like my mixtape, after my family threw it out into a dumpster and lit it on fire. I'm joking. Anyway, the smoke is making it a bit hard to see what exactly is going on from the mirror, so I can't exactly see what's going on. But I'm not an idiot, I know that there is a very good chance that this is the ogre village I'm looking for. But isn't it a bit too early? I was expecting this to happen only after a couple of days. Report. There is a good chance that this event occurred earlier than predicted due to this being a parallel world. I guess that explains things, huh? Anyway, now isn't the time. I have to hurry. And so, without saying anything, I use spatial motion and disappear from the house, instantly appearing right on the edges of the village. I can't move to any place I haven't seen before, but looking at it through the mirror makes things so much easier. I turn into my human form and call out. Rimuru, Ranga. Ranga, you called, Master. Ranga appears from my shadow and stands next to me while still in his smaller form. He always sits in my shadow, so I can just call him like this whenever he needs it. Rimuru, protect the ogres. Try not to kill any orcs, but if you can't help it, give them a painless death. I want to keep as many orcs alive as possible since they'll eventually work under me, but right now, they're my enemy. I won't hold back if I can't help it. Ranga, understood, Master. Ranga runs forward into the still burning village and disappears into the smoke. I'm not worried about him, he's stronger than all of the orcs still in the village and the smoke won't hinder someone of his level. How do I know that there are orcs inside the village? And how do I know there are still ogres to be saved? Well, universal sense is useful in situations like this. Although Raphael filters all the information coming from universal sense, this doesn't mean it's because I can't process it all. A slime's body is made up of individual cells that can each act as a separate brain. I just can't be bothered having to sift through all the incoming information, so while not in a combat state, Raphael handles all the useless stuff. As soon as I arrived, I immediately understood the entire situation in the village and I knew it was the orcs attacking as I expected. Luckily, it seems they're still in the process of raiding the village and there are around half of the ogres left remaining. Okay, first things first, I need to get rid of this fire. Control water. I create a massive ball of water high up in the air before bursting it, causing it to shower the area like rain. Within a minute, most of the fires are gone. I could also get rid of the smoke, but I don't need vision and neither does Ranga. The smoke should work in my favor. Now then. Shall I play the hero? Name, Rimuru. Race, Origin Slime. Protection, Crest of Space. Title, Highest Tier Spirit, Leader of the Monsters. Ultimate Skills, Ilya, Heaven's Feel, Raphael, Lord of Wisdom. Intrinsic Skills, Infinite Regeneration, Universal Shape Shift, Universal Sense, Multi-Layer Barrier, Enhanced Replication, Universal Thread. Unique skills, Predator, Creation, Rune Master. Extra skills, Control Water, Lord's Ambition, Thought Communication, Control Wind, Control Flame, Spatial Motion. Tolerances, Cancel Pain, Resist Melee Attack, Cancel Natural Elements, Cancel Ailments, Resist Spiritual Attack, Resist Holy Attack. If you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later, bye bye.